Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you for coming to my channel again, and hope y'all enjoy all the stories I'm telling. I kind of like doing the story times. I told 2 scary stories so far, or dangerous, scary, spooky kind of stories. But this one's a little bit more lighthearted. Part of it's really funny. I I used to work in fast food. I worked in a lot of restaurants, and one time I was working in the drive-thru, and these guys came through and they ordered their food, and then they made me say a bunch of things because they were from Pennsylvania and they just couldn't get over the accent and, being from Texas. And they asked me what "fixin' to" means, and they were recording me on a little video camera. This is back in the 80s. And they were going to show all their friends, oh, we're from Texas, and this is the way they talk, and this is what they sound like. And they made me say y'all like about 10 times, and something about riding my horse or something. And I've had people come through the drive-thru and give me tips. That was nice. And one time I got a bouquet of flowers. This guy gave me 6 red roses. It was really sweet. He was a really nice guy, and he was just doing it to be nice. And he used to come there all the time, and he knew that I was working that night, and or he saw my car there, I think, and he went to the store behind and he bought 6 red roses and gave them to me. And it made me feel really good because sometimes that job was really stressful, and sometimes I hated my managers, and I remember that day. It was a really nice thing. And one time I turned around, I took their money, and then I turned around to give them their drinks, and there was a little puppy sitting in the drive-thru window, and it was so cute and so sweet. It was a little fluffy, cute little puppy, and it was so sweet. And I've had a bunch of drunks come through. I mean, on a Friday, Saturday night, you get tons of them. They just come from the bars, after last call, and they're all drunk, and they're screaming and yelling and cussing you out. And I never took it personally. It kind of did get to me sometimes when they were really rude. Not really rude, like, I guess when they were really personal, especially, like, I don't even want to say some of the stuff they say because I don't want the algorithm. Well, I don't think I even have an algorithm right now, but I mean, really vulgar stuff. Some people did say really crass, vulgar things. I don't want to really repeat it. And I got flashed a lot. I don't know how many times, probably like about 5 or 6 times. And I always laughed when that happened. I was like, oh, really? I think that was not the reaction they were looking for, but that's what I said to them. Oh, really? And then I got proposed to once, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to marry if you come through the drive-thru and I don't know who you are, but it was very sweet. And I've seen a lot of fights. I've seen a lot of people get their butts kicked. We've had to call the cops numerous times. I mean, that's what you get with a bunch of drunks and people in the drive-thru on a Saturday night. And I remember one time this lady came through and she was nursing her baby. And I was like 16. And she was a very voluptuous lady. Very, very large lady, I want to say. And at first when I turned around, she was holding a baby. I knew that. I turned around and I thought her breast was the baby's head at first. I didn't realize it until I handed the change, and my hand was about 2 inches from her chest. And I was like, oh my God. You could barely see the baby's head. It looked like it was suffocating. And I was very young, and this was way back in the 80s before it was, quite as accepted as it is now to breastfeed. But that was a little shocking at that time. And then a lot of rude people. I mean, I've had so many rude people just because they're in a hurry, and, we're trying to get it out as fast as we can and trying to get them their orders right. You don't want to give, because I know going through the drive-thru, that's one thing that really, kind of wears me thin, is getting the wrong thing, especially repeatedly. I went to a certain restaurant. I've been there like 3 times in the past week. They gave me the wrong wrong drink all 3 times, and then they forgot my fries once. I didn't get mad, but it was like, I think they realized the lady who worked there, she kind of recognized me, kind of, oh, I think you came back yesterday and I gave you the wrong drink again. But I didn't get mad. But I just, anybody who orders their food, that you want to get it right. You don't want to drive all the way home and find out that it's not right. A lot of people would get mad and call back, and I felt for them, and I really hate it. I used to try to give them an extra fry or something to, make them not be so upset, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but a lot of creeps would come through, and especially when I was younger, that was just disgusting, I remember a guy, I gave him his change, and he grabbed my hand and he kind of held onto it in a creepy, disgusting way. I was like, and his girlfriend or wife was sitting right next to him, and he was really tall, and I couldn't really see, and he kind of just looked at me barely with his eyes like that, just kind of gave this disgusting smile. Ugh. And then we had a nightclub, not a nightclub, a strip club that was across the back alleyway, like about not even a half a block down. And some of the strippers would come in there to order their food, and they would have their G-strings on and just a little t-shirt or something like that, and they would bend over the counter. So we had to tell them, you can't do that, I'm sorry, you gotta have your clothes on when you come in to get food. And then one time a couple of the employees came and told me, Kim, they're upset with you because they think you're being rude to the customers. I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, I'm trying to be nice to everybody, and I try to get their order and everything. And well, no, the other night when you were rude to that guy, and I was like, oh, he was drunk and he was calling me names and being rude to me. So, I mean, I didn't curse at him or anything, but I remember I kind of slammed the door, and I was like, just got sick of, the way he was talking to me. I was like, yeah, I am rude to people like that sometimes, but I don't care because they're drunks and I mean, if you're going to talk really down to somebody who's working really hard and been working all night and say vulgar things, I'm not going to really care about hurting your feelings. Sorry, but I'm not. And so the manager came over, and he was going to, actually he's going to show me how to do my job or something like that. I was like, all right, you do it. I do it nonstop, and I can run that place faster and better than you. The first customer he got called him a MFer, or he took their money and said, I'll give you your change. Let me get your change. Or he was trying to be really polite, and you're such an MFer, you probably can't even count the change right. And they slammed the door, reached up and slammed the door in his face and drove off. They didn't even get their change. It was like $1.10 or whatever change. And he just turned and looked. I was like, I go through that every night. Okay, go to your next customer. And he was so in shock, that it happened. And then the very next customer got mad because they were going to told him to pull over and wait for their order, They threw their Coke. He had just handed them a small Coke or a drink or something, and they threw it back at him, and it hit him right in the hip. And he was like, these people are so rude, And so he just walked back to the office and left me alone. He never bothered me again. And then there was one place I worked at. We had these bacon burgers, these new bacon burgers. They made these little, not name tags, a pin. And it was about 4 inches by 4 inches, and it said "Making Bacon" on it. And I had to wear that. And a lot of people would start laughing, and the inference that it means. I had to wear that on it was big, and it stuck out and it looked ridiculous. And I kept that pin for a long time because I thought it was funny. And I lost it, I don't know, but I thought it was funny. And then I swear to you, the next thing I tell you is a true story. This really did happen, and I was a witness to it. I saw it. I worked with this girl. I didn't not like her. I don't think that not that she didn't like me, but she was kind of lazy and she didn't work very hard. She stood around and talked a lot, and I did most of the work. And at night, we usually had like 2 or 3 of us that would work together, and one at the drive-through and 2 on the counter. And she was never done on time. She never had anything ready. Everybody had to help her. And one of the managers told her one day, "Why can't you be like Kim and get your work done?" And I hate it when managers do that, because, I mean, that just makes them resent you. You know, I can't stand it when managers compare you to somebody else, because then they really do get upset. And you should have said it in a different way, you know, like, you need to do your work, you know, quit talking. Not use me, you know, put me in the middle. But one night, it was really busy. It was super busy, and there was a ton of college kids there. And these 2 particular guys walked up, and she was taking their order. And when they ordered a burger, we were supposed to ask them if they want cheese on it. And they also had sundaes there, and you had to ask them if they wanted peanuts on their sundae. But they don't do that now because of the peanut allergies, but this was back when they did that. And she took their order, and then she asked one of them, I can't even think, "Do you want cheese on your nuts?" I just about died laughing, and all the college kids behind these 2 guys screamed and started, you know, acting like they were at a football game or something. Oh, just yelling. It was hilarious. It was, God, the funniest thing. "Do you want cheese on your nuts?" Oh my God. And I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't take the orders. I couldn't stop, and I got in trouble, and the manager took me to the back and, "Kim, you need to straighten up. We're busy. We don't have time for this." I was like, "Oh no, I know. I couldn't stop laughing." And he had to sit me back up there, and I was taking the orders, and then she was upset, and I would be too, you know. It was embarrassing for her. And she wasn't a bad person, but she was just, you know, one of that lazy person, and that person that goofs off and doesn't do their work, and then that happens, and that just makes you laugh even harder, you know. And so I couldn't stop laughing, so he took me to the back a second time, and he goes, "You stay back here, you take your break until you're done with this, you know." And I kind of was trying to hold it in, and we were almost closed. It was pretty late, but after we closed, I just laughed the entire time. You know, giggling. It was so childish and immature, but it was really funny. And the 2 guys she said it to were cops. They were on their lunch break, and I swear to God, that one cop just like, he wasn't sure, "Did I hear you say that?" And he didn't answer her. And that's about the funniest thing I've ever heard. I mean, I died laughing. I just couldn't stop. And for weeks, I mean, I couldn't even look at that girl. And she was secretly dating one of the managers, and somebody saw them together at the movies or something like that. And they got told on, and, well, they didn't get fired or in trouble. They just separated them. They couldn't work on the same shift. And she thought that I did it the entire time, and I did not. But that's my funny story, you know, to break up in between the scary stories. I think I'll tell another scary story next time, or a spooky one. Actually, I have a real spooky one. I think I'll tell that one next. But thank you so much for listening, and like, comment, subscribe, please, if you want. And I really enjoy telling these stories to y'all, and I hope y'all come back for more. Thank you.